Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay, easy content. Preemptive like, I was the 999th like. I wish I was the 1000th. It doesn't bother me. I'm not out of content. Let's go. Top 10 British stand-up comedians. Ricky Gervais. Mickey Flanagan. Others. To me, there are sort of two types of comedians. I don't think everyone falls into one of these two, but a lot do. One is the more casual storytelling comedian, and one is more of like a shock value comedian. And I prefer the storytelling to the shock value. Sometimes I'm in the mood for the shock value. What's an example of like a shock value? I don't know, but like some are just like, oh my God, he just said that. And some are just like telling a normal story in a hilarious way. I prefer the sort of more comfortable on stage telling a story than the other, but they're both. Does that make sense? Let's go.
Jokes, gags, and bossing hecklers. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 British stand-up comedians.
A drink after, bro. A drink. Where's the poker? Where's the poker? You don't give me, I'll drink the bastard again.
James Cook.
Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're rolling with the greatest UK stand-up acts of all time. We focused our rank on classic joke and punchline performers, as well as comics renowned for their storytelling.
Eddie Izzard, perfect. He just said it, storytelling. Eddie Izzard is a perfect example of the kind of comedy I really like, where he's super comfortable on stage, and he just tells a story and doesn't rely on like a shot. Does that make sense? I love Eddie Izzard.
All-around entertainers and performance artists, including the likes of the brilliant Bill Bailey, aren't included today. For a specialized look at the world's top 10 female stand-up comedians, be sure to check out our sister channel, Ms. Mojo.
Would you have bothered with the hair if you had his face? If your face looked like a novelty jug that was made in a secure unit pottery class.
See, I think Frankie Boyle is more of the other.
What do we want to see, ideally, when we watch somebody park in the disabled spot? What are we hoping for? Somebody to just park in the spot, the door open, and a minute and a half later, fall out?
Since starting up in the mid-2000s, Michael McIntyre's become one of Britain's most popular comedians. A bright and energetic style shapes his routines, earning him solid rep as a hilarious host.
They had both wound the windows down and had their heads on the motorway out of the window.
A presenter for several stand-up programs and a one-time judge on Britain's Got Talent, Michael McIntyre's Big Show is arguably his most successful vehicle, bagging him a BAFTA in 2017.
You get out in the morning, every single person is reading the Metro. Everyone. Why doesn't one person just read it to the carriage? What the hell are they doing?
Number 9, Lenny Henry.
We shall fight them on the beaches.
Winston, I've never heard this guy.
And in the hills. We will never surrender. Churchill.
While today's audience probably knows him best for his slightly annoying Premier Inn ads, Lenny Henry's comedy career dates back to the 70s. A perennial favorite thanks to his broad and charming style and his lead role with comic relief, he has stayed at the top of his game for decades.
You freaking vegetarians are driving me mental. I'm sticking a chicken tikka on your cabbage and lentil.
Knighted for his services to drama and charity in the Queen's 2015 birthday honours, this chap's a national treasure.
I won't be doing the drinking, no. I don't do the drinking anymore. I used to do the drinking. I don't do that. I had a cab driver one time thought I was from Narnia. Where you going, pal? No.
Number 8, Lee Evans.
I just watched one of his.
Every time there's a murder on the news, the police put a tent up. As soon as there's a murder, tent. What if there's a murder in a tent?
A retired stand-up as of 2014, Lee Evans sure deserves a rest. He leaves behind a 20-year legacy, including famously sweat-drenched routines packed with energy.
You know, the police are so caught up in bureaucracy gone mad, they've got their police horses doing it now. You've seen the riot horses, haven't you, with those glasses? That's not for the riot. They're reading glasses.
At his prime, he was one of the best storytelling comedians in the country, as well as an occasional dabbler with Hollywood.
Hey, you want your pizza? Here, man.
Here,
He
man.
called time on his career to focus on his family, but didn't he have a blast?
You're still sitting there 3 hours late with that kid poking his head up like, kids.
Number
He's
7,
sweating like
Eddie
crazy.
Izzard.
Love
I was
Eddie.
always fascinated by James Bond's gadgets because he had these brilliant little gadgets, but the guy who gave them to him, Q, must have been some sort of psychic because he always gave him exactly what he bloody well wanted.
Famous for his brazen approach and unique wardrobe choices, Eddie Izzard embraces the odder side of life. His often surreal musings can tackle anything from serious societal topics to plain bizarre run-throughs of everyday life on the Death Star.
You'll need a tray. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? This is not a game of who the you. For I am Vader.
He's also noted for
saw
his
the
film
Lego
and TV
rendition.
work, his political influence, and for undertaking some truly marathon challenges for charity. But Izzard's stand-up shows boast some of his best and boldest material.
Ava, let's marry. And where shall our honeymoon be? Well, in a ditch, covered in petrol of fire. I've already arranged it upstairs. Oh, how romantic, Adolf. Yes, I know.
Number 6, Frankie Boyle.
Don't worry. Your mum knows you wank.
See, Frankie is a perfect example of the other type that I also like, but just of like the shock value. Why am I breaking all this down?
Too.
Unapologetic, controversial, but ever popular.
I would
Frankie
never
Boyle
sit in the
made a
front
name
row.
for himself by angrily ranting his way through Mock the Week. Never one to shy away from big issues, his views on the likes of Brexit and the 2016 US election also led to a hosting gig on Frankie Boyle's New World Order.
Donald Trump sort of looks like someone playing a president in a porno. It's not just that he's the worst person for the job, he might be the worst mammal.
Setting out to ruthlessly tackle current affairs, his stand-up shows always promise the
Weird.
same degree of savage pessimism.
I read about the death of Robin Williams and I thought, why can't James Corden get depressed?
Number 5, Peter Kay.
Everyone hates it.
My God, you're getting big. You're getting bigger every time I see you. Nice to see you too.
A stark contrast from Bolton's finest, Peter Kay proves that not all jokes need a biting satirical agenda or a barrage of bad language. Kay rewrote the record books in 2011 by staging the most successful stand-up comedy tour of all time, and he's been a staple on British TV since the 90s.
I'm not seeing doctor. You doing your sick voice? No, I'm not. I'm not seeing doctor. Doctor?
From dad dancing to dunking a biscuit, he turns simple things into ever-quotable yarns, finding the funny side of everyday life. Number 4, Tommy Cooper.
I think you guys are gonna do this anyway, but I do want to know which ones you guys like and or dislike.
I shall now produce from this empty cloth 4 live ducks. Oh! I got away again.
Right down to his iconic fez, Tommy Cooper is a comic legend. With routines often built on failed magic tricks, he's still quoted as a leading inspiration for many of today's comedians.
I was walking up the other night and a man came out from a doorway. He said, have you seen a policeman around here? I said, no, he's a stickler.
Of course, Cooper tragically died as he lived on stage while entertaining a rapturous audience. But his lumbering manner and the cheeky chappy persona still holds up today.
Do you know, as I was waiting to go in to see him, the same dentist, and I was sitting reading the magazines.
You can't just drop that on me and then. What do you mean? What happened? How did he have a heart attack or something on stage?
The same dentist, and I was sitting reading the magazines. Wasn't it awful about that Titanic?
Number 3, Billy Connolly.
Great.
I tend to frighten people on the beach because being Scottish, I'm pale blue. It takes me a week to get white, you know.
Another who's known for film and TV as well as stand-up, Billy Connolly worked on the Glasgow shipyards before becoming a folk singer and comedian. His frank, brash and ballsy shows soon saw him become an icon in Scotland and an international hit.
And in the movie she goes,
Affectionately known as the Big Yin, he plays the belligerent Scot to a T and became well known for his constant touring in the 90s. He's a man of the people and a riotous one-off.
It's a funny name for the countryside, the bush, isn't it? I think the middle of Australia is a huge desert with one bush.
Number 2, Ricky Gervais.
Of course. Ooh. I'm not going to skip forward. Is Mickey not going to be on the list? Bill Connolly. The first time I ever heard him was a movie called Muppets Treasure Island, and he played Billy Bones. I think it was Billy Bones. Billy Bones. And I just remember his iconic voice. Who's another one? Like Tim Curry. Just people like who like voiced things or played minor roles on like kids things in the 90s. Or not. It's just such an iconic voice. Ricky is hilarious.
It's a strange sort of bigotry that you can affect someone else's lifestyle that doesn't affect you back. It's not like they asked a bloke once, said, sorry, do you mind if these two men get married? He went, no, fine. Okay, jack them off then. What? I didn't know that was...
If you're easily offended, look away now. He's an actor, a writer, a director. He's hosted the Golden Globes, but for pure Ricky Gervais, you have to see his stand-up.
He did like a chimpanzee like AIDS origin joke. I lost it.
To the bone gags do tend to divide opinion, but the guy was arguably the UK's most influential comedian throughout the 2000s.
People know that's what's making them fat. No one got fat behind their own back. No one and went, okay.
He's one of the comedians that like people in America know who he is.
And can't be said. Animals and Politics are probably his most famous tours, taken shortly after the success of The Office.
Elephants have been caught swimming up to 2 miles off the coast in the Indian Ocean. That's amazing. I didn't know they liked to swim. I certainly didn't think they could swim 2 miles out to sea, but it's the language this person uses. Have been caught swimming.
As if they're not allowed.
It's illegal.
Number 1, Jimmy Carr.
Okay.
His laugh is unmistakable. His deadpan delivery is always on point. His treatment of hecklers is brutal. Jab at Jimmy's questionable tax history all you like, he's always ready with a witty reply.
I got stopped outside of McDonald's. This guy said to me the other day, he said, this cheap food is only made possible by GM farming, cruelty to animals and the exploitation of workers in the third world. I said, all right, hold up. You had me at cheap food.
Jimmy Carr has been the face of British...
The mosquito joke. I will never forget that. The mosquito joke, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to re-say it, but he's a good blend between the two types. Like, he has shock value, but he's also really, like, comfortable and does the story bit, too. But, man...
Comedy for years, hosting or appearing on a range of shows. But forget the studio, give this guy a stage and he will invariably own it.
I was asked this evening not to be patronising or sexist. I thought, fair enough, let's face it, birds can't take it.
To quote his 2008 tour, he's a joke technician and nobody does it better.
Men propose on their knees. Do you know why that is? It's to get them used to asking for sex when they're married.
Do you agree with our picks?
Do you agree?
Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo UK and...
Ooh, top 10, 8 out of 10 cats. Top 10, oh god, content on content, guys.
It's the panel show. From
the joke was like, if only we had, I'm gonna butcher it, like, had more mosquito nets in Africa, we could prevent millions of mosquitoes from dying of AIDS or something like that. Love y'all. See you guys next time. Bye. Keep recommending. Join the Discord if you want to join the Discord. See you guys next time. Bye.